Okay, I am recording the meeting. It is Monday, November 28th, 22. Thank you all for being here. And let me see if I can share the meeting docs here. Does everybody see the agenda on their screen, or does anybody see it?
Yeah, it's there.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so we are officially starting the meeting. Without the chair here, I will call the meeting to order. We won't be able to approve of the minutes. It doesn't look like we have a quorum. So we'll move on to updates of our partners. Starting with any regulatory update or legislative update, anything new? Anybody have anything to bring up on recent or pending legislation? Oops. Okay, hearing none, we'll move into the partner updates. Adams County reps, anybody from departments in Adams County?
Hi, Dean. This is Katie Keefe.
Hey, Katie.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
From environmental programs, there really aren't too many updates. I think maybe we might have someone from our new health department joining us, hopefully, after the first of the year. But that's still moving forward. And from environmental programs, not too much to share at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other county reps?
Hey, Dean, this is Ron. And just to kind of parrot what Katie just said, our health department continues to roll. It should be ready to launch on January 1, so coming up really quickly, and we will make sure that we get a public health rep on our LEPC board as well. So we'll reach out and make sure that we have that rep. The only other thing I want to just kind of mention a little bit, and maybe this is legislative regulatory, but the House Bill 22-1189, I think it is, which is the fence line monitoring that some of you may be familiar with. Had a conversation with AdCom and with CDPHE about 3 weeks ago, reference what that might look like. According to the regulation, whenever there's an emission that exceeds an exceedance of an emission that triggers an alarm on the fence line monitoring, it requires basically a public notification to go out from the dispatch center. So effectively a code red kind of notification to go out. So we're Jackie Reynolds over at AdCom was going to meet with some of the public health and public safety representatives and just discuss what that might look like. Of course, our concern is without knowing the magnitude or the number of emissions that might occur in a year, how many public notices would go out? Would that basically erode our public alert notification system if we're sending out public alerts and notifications daily or hourly or on a huge frequency of events? Will that erode our public notification system? So that's the concern. Right now we're still trying to look at it and see what that's going to look like when they finally launch, but that's supposed to take effect in January as well. So I think that we're just going to have to stand by and wait and see. It's basically between the facilities, the public response agencies, and AdCom. According to AdCom, the only ones who can launch a code red will be the incident commander or OEM. So it can't come from the facility itself. So basically the protocol would be something happens at a facility, the facility notifies the dispatch center, they've got an issue, dispatch would then notify a response agency to go out and make an assessment. The incident commander from the response agency would make a determination whether or not code red needs to be launched. If so, they would notify ADCOM to launch out that code red. But there's a lot of moving parts to this, and we'll just have to wait and see how it flushes out in the end. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ron, if I can add to that as well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is only Suncor at this point, according to the legislation, that has to begin their fence line monitoring for the 3 air toxics in January of this year. And the other 2 facilities in Adams County, I think, have to begin in 2024. Not that will help ease the stress of kind of navigating this and figuring out how to kind of implement the code red, but it might give a good indication of the number of alerts that may need to be generated. They're the only covered facility that would, well, realistically and logically would only have, they're the only facility that would have hydrogen cyanide emissions because it's hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen sulfide, and benzene. And the other 2 covered facilities really really benzene is their primary air toxic emission. And I think it is Suncor is the only facility that really does have to implement the fence line air monitoring in 2023.
Okay. Yeah, and I really don't know, to be honest with you. I did speak with some oil well sites in an exercise about 2 weeks ago, and they said they were also doing fence line monitoring at their pad sites. So I don't know if they just are jumping on that legislation on their own or if it's some kind of requirement, but there may be some other ones as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Sinclair
a
told me they
different
were as well.
requirement. Yeah, it's Sinclair, Phillips 66, and Suncor, they're covered under the air toxics. So 1189 is the air toxics fence line air monitoring requirement. The exploration and production or oil and gas production sites, they're covered under Air Quality Control Commission Regulation 7. And they're required to report to Air Pollution Control Division their air monitoring results. And those are compared to health-based guideline values, which often are much lower than any type of emergency threshold for public exposure. So they're not included in that 1189 fence line monitoring requirement with the code red alerts.
Okay, I guess we'll learn more.
Yeah. Okay, any other, and let me see if I can share that. Agenda again.
Hey, Dean, someone does have their hand up.
Yeah, sorry, when I'm sharing my screen, I lose everything else.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I thought I'd let you know.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. This is Ada Kaiser with Holly Energy Partners. And you mentioned Sinclair had called regarding what you were just talking about. And I wanted to make sure everybody's aware that Sinclair is now Holly Energy Partners.
Great. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
we
make a
did.
note.
They did make that transition.
Holly Energy Partners. All right. Thank you.
Same people though, so it's all good.
Just a name change.
Just the name change, yes.
Okay. All right. Local agencies, any neighboring LEPCs, EMs, anybody on the call that has any news?
Hey, Dean, I'm going to just jump in one more time. This is Ron again from
Sure,
Adams County. For all of our NCR partners, actually, EM Partners. I just got a notification from Corey this morning that Esther San, who is the state rep that handles most of the grants at the state, she'll be retiring or leaving her position on Wednesday. So if you have grants, or if you have grants in the system that Esther's been managing, if there's anything that you can do between now and Wednesday to kind of close that out, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll let everyone know as soon as I find out who the replacement's going to be for that position. But that could have some impact on management of your grants and moving your grants forward, because there's always a transition time frame, you know, whenever anyone leaves and someone else takes over. But I just wanted to let all of our partners know that she is leaving her position.
All right, thank you.
And Dean, I have, I was looking to see, I don't know if Theo Gonzalez is on the call this morning. He did send me an email from that their Thornton Fire Department is going to be implementing a test to treat program, and this will be for COVID, flu, and RSV. They're going to have a mobile service and an on-site telehealth consultation with a doctor. And then we'll also be able to administer medications like Paxlovid, I can't pronounce it, Lagavrio, that they can dispense on site, no cost, because they do have a FEMA grant. So I just got back from vacation today. Was planning on forwarding his email with that flyer to OEM as well as our health department, so we can get that kind of sent out, maybe posted to the website so the public is aware of it. But just as we continue to move into the kind of public health flu and COVID season, it seems like a pretty great service that they're going to be able to provide residents. And it's not just City of Thornton, it's anyone in Adams County that will be eligible.
Great. That's good to know. Yeah, it sounds like some of the reports I'm getting, the RSV cases are very high. All right. Anybody else? Local agencies? Any of our neighbors? It's like maybe not. We'll move to local chemical facilities. And also remember everybody to sign in the chat. All right, anybody else from local chemical, oil and gas?
Good morning, Dean. This is Dylan Ort with Suncor Energy USA Pipeline Company. Wanted to provide an update on a significant piece of work that we've got coming up in 23. Would you mind if I shared my screen for a moment?
Not at all. Let me see if I can.
I could just take it over. It's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah, great. Appreciate it.
Sorry, everybody, I'm back.
Suncor was notified approximately 3 months ago by Union Pacific Railroad that they are going to be installing a new siding between approximately 112th up to 136th. This is going to end up being placed essentially right on top of Suncor's existing 10-inch pipeline that's inside of the Union Pacific Railroad. Due to this, we are scrambling to relocate our line in that same area. We're working with Union Pacific to place it inside of their right of way on the east side of this. But this is going to be a very high priority project that we're going to do everything we can to fast track this through any and all Adams County groups involved with this, including the commissioners, etc. This is not something that's being done by choice. It is certainly something that will benefit the residents of Adams County from a safety perspective, both in terms of ensuring that Union Pacific's operations continue to occur safely, but also that Suncor's refinery operates undisturbed. So really, this is just a notification to the LEPC that this is coming and that we'll be reaching out to fire departments, etc., about this relocation here in the coming months.
All right, thank you, Dylan. Please keep us posted on that and let us know how that's going because that's sounds like a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's about $18 million worth of project that we didn't have budgeted for.
Always, always an unpleasant surprise. Yeah. All right. Again, remind everybody, I saw a couple of people hop on, so please sign in the chat so we have your presence recorded. And I will go back and see if I can.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Dean, this is Dylan with Suncor again. May I toss in one more item, please?
Yeah, you bet. Do you want to
So-
screen again?
Both Ada and I are part of the Pipeline Association for Public Awareness and what is currently known as the Colorado Pipeline Awareness group as well. And we're changing our name in 23 to Pipeline Operators of Colorado due to significant conflicts that we've had in trying to reach out to our emergency responders partners for emergency response training to pipeline emergencies. This is a federally required action on behalf of pipeline operators across the country. We held meetings here in the last couple of, I think it was a month and a half ago, where we'd sent out invitations and in Adams County had no response. No one showed up to those meetings. And so I guess I'm reaching out to this group to find out what we could do, if anything, differently in 23 to improve that outreach. I ended up having a conversation with Thornton Fire, as a matter of fact, trying to, see if we could bring the message to them. And there were actually concerns in regards to, how did they phrase it? Gifts issues. Right, we were bringing lunch in that we would have had scheduled for those events, and they turned us away because they had said we couldn't, or they couldn't take gifts. An example, a free lunch. So we're trying to better understand what that looks like and how we can better get this message out to emergency responders in Adams County.
Sounds good. Certainly, do you want to put an email or a contact in the chat for people to respond to that? Maybe we can get if people
Yep,
have
absolutely.
thoughts, get back to you on it.
Absolutely.
Can I ask a quick question, Dean?
Sure.
This is Katie.
Hi,
This
Katie.
is Katie Keefe. Dylan, who's the intended audience of this training and what is the aim? Like, what's the objective of the training?
So the intended audience is anyone within the emergency response community. All right. We're tasked with reaching out to fire, police, hazmat, to hospitals if we can, emergency, AMRs, ambulances, the 911 call centers, anybody who we can get the attention of to improve their understanding of what it would look like or could look like in regards to responding to a pipeline emergency, and help provide resources to those same groups on, not just having us come out and do the training, but what they can use on their own for self-guided education.
Yeah, I know we try to attend those, annually, and certainly would be willing to give you our feedback as well. But yeah, I invite everybody to put in some information.
And then it looks like Mark Schumann also has his hand up.
Go,
Yeah, I
Mark.
guess one of the concerns from our side is every pipeline company that runs through Adams County sets up these meetings.
Yep.
They are, to be honest, somewhat redundant, especially for the fire service, they're, you know, we've been doing this a long time, so not only does it tend to be redundant, but it's also kind of, for us, it's somewhat rudimentary in the presentation because we're, you know, we do work with the pipeline companies. We understand how to respond. We understand what the 911 process is, and we see a lot of the same information provided. So I don't think it's a lack of interest. Dylan, I think, you know, whoever sends out the free lunch first,
Right.
tends to get people going. And you know, my agency, you know, the free lunch thing isn't an issue. It's a lunch meeting. But I guess probably it would be for my agency in particular, as a neighbor to Suncor, we'd be particularly interested. I don't remember receiving specifically yours, but as I say, we get so many requests that sometimes I don't even see them all.
Right. No, and that's a message well received and one that's been thoroughly considered over the last several years. We've certainly been concerned about that impact. One of the things to consider when choosing which event to go to or what to listen to, and why you might put more credence to what will soon be called POCO, is that we are an operator-driven group. We're all volunteering our time to come out and put these events together as a larger group, whereas you may have other groups, for example, I'm not trying to disparage them, Paradigm, who they are a for-profit group that companies are hiring to come out and meet with emergency responders, but not always attending them themselves, simply so that they can check the box. You're not really making that strong connection with your local operator to create that liaison and understanding of each other's response abilities. So I'd ask and encourage you to try and keep that in mind when you're choosing which one to go to.
Yeah, that's great information because Paradigm is one that I know we've attended in the past. And partially it's, to be honest, their marketing is very flashy and reaches us in a couple different manners. So this will be good to know, and we'll definitely look forward to your future outreach.
Excellent. Thank you so much for the feedback. That's really well appreciated.
And,
Hey,
and
excuse me real quick.
yes.
Dylan and Chief Shun, Chief, what is it that you would like to see different?
Well, it's not so much what to see different from Suncor. It's that, as I say, we're just inundated.
Yeah.
You know, for the last couple months, I probably have received 2 invitations a week or notifications to fill out the survey that they've made contact. And so I guess, you know, through this group would be great. If it came through the LEPC, as an LEPC member that you're presenting this, that would help. That
Okay,
way,
I
at
will
least it's a direct one-on-one.
Yep, I will definitely keep that in mind for our outreach methodology in 23 and provide that back to our leadership.
Dylan, this is Ada. To be sure and share with everyone how many of the local operators are involved with that
Yeah.
group. I forget the name of our new name, but it is put on by the majority of the local operators altogether. So that would be your one-stop. It
Right.
could be your one-stop spot. Yeah.
And it would be easy for me to include in the invitation the list of all the operators that you'll see represented in Adams County. That's a very simple ask. All right, now I'll yield the floor. Thank you for the time.
No, it's very interesting conversation. Appreciate you coming on and bringing that up. That's why we're here. On the agenda next would be Tri-County Health Department. Any?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. This is Jeff McCarron representing Tri-County Health Department today. So in terms of the new Adams County Health Department, we're really excited for this transition. We've been so well received by everybody that we've encountered in the county. We've had great communication. We've had our orientations were a week or so ago. So we're all really excited about it. Here, I think we've got on our org chart, we've got almost every position filled, which includes some new supervisor and another manager position in our environmental health division. The one position that is not filled at this moment is the environmental health supervisor for the water team. So those interviews are being held today. So our current supervisor, Mike Weekly, is going to go to the private sector. So he's not coming over to one of the counties. Unfortunately, I wish he was because he's exceptional. But you know, we'll keep going with whoever is selected. And just Katie and Chris, I wanted to mention that I'm happy to continue to report to the LEPC as part of the Adams County Health Department. I can certainly continue this role. I'm happy to do that. So yeah, and then I guess really in terms of spills and stuff, it's been really quiet the last couple months since the last time I was on a meeting. It's been abnormally so. So I'm getting a little scared that we're going to get a huge tidal wave of spills coming up because they usually all come at the same time. So, but anyway, I do look forward, Dean, to your spill report later on in the meeting just to see what you've had. But we've had a really quiet last few months. It's been pretty nice, honestly, because we've had a lot of other things to deal with. So anyway, yeah, I'm training 3 people right now for water team positions. 2 are going to go to Arapahoe County, but then 1 will stay with me. And then I may need to hire another person soon as well. So anyway, things look good. We're excited to move to Adams County, and it's going to be an exciting time. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you.
Dean, we'll just have to verify whether or not the public health position is one of the Board of County Commissioner appointee positions or not. If it's an appointee position, it'll have to go through the Board of County Commissioners with an application to make that election.
Yes, anybody on the board will have to do that. Thank you, Ron. All right, next on the agenda will be State of Colorado. Any state reps? Not hearing anybody. Federal partners. Any of our federal partners on the call today? Not hearing any. Anybody else? Anybody else with a report or a comment into the LEPC?
Yeah, Dave, this is Dan Knutson with Civitas Resources. I just wanted to reintroduce or just let everybody know kind of updates. So for those that did not know, that Civitas Resources was brought together from several oil and gas companies that I know we've got wells in quite a few places in Adams County, but it was made up of Crestone Peak Resources, Extraction Oil and Gas, Bonanza Creek, High Point, and some Bison assets. So we've become the largest landowner or land-based oil and gas company in the Front Range. So we run all the way from Albert County almost to Wyoming border. So we got a lot of wells in Weld County, Adams, Arapahoe, and et cetera. So just wanted to make sure everybody understood you're welcome to use me. I'll put my phone number and contact information out there on the chat. So if you got any questions associated with oil and gas operations, in Adams County, please feel free to reach out to me. I do know that Colorado CPRN is holding a tabletop tornado exercise coming up for you guys in Adams County. It's going to be held in the Emergency Operations Center on December 14th. So basically how we interact with a large scale tragedy or situation that comes across. So tornado hitting a public sector area along with our oil and gas operations and stuff. So we did this in Weld County, and I know Dave Burns is on here. We did it up there in Weld County, and it worked really well. It was a lot of good information of us interacting with fire departments and the OEM and et cetera. So if anybody wants to participate in that, I'll put Dan Frazen's information out there as well for the CPRN. But yeah, I mean, if you guys, anybody on this LEPC would like to visit a well site or anything like that, and I know last year we talked about us possibly doing that for one of our meetings, et cetera. So just wanted to throw that back out there as a member of the Adams County LEPC. Just let me know, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, we'll definitely talk to you about doing that. I think getting out and actually seeing what the well sites are like and what the equipment out there is and so forth would be good for everybody and our responders and so forth. If they haven't been out, I think most of them have, but it's always good to get a little change of scenery as well. All right. If we don't have any other items to bring up or comments, I will start with the exciting spill reporting. And let me see if I can just share that screen as well. All right. Does everyone see? Does everyone see the spill report screen?
Yes.
Okay, and are you seeing just the regular slide, or are you seeing kind of my taskbar side of it?
Yeah, we see both, the taskbar as well.
Okay, I was kind of hoping to just have it be one. At any rate, I will just go ahead and move through it real quickly and get started with that. So on the 22nd of August, we had a release of diesel. You can kind of read the slide there, but there was a traffic accident. Transfer truck spilled 400 gallons of diesel to the asphalt and some storm drains. State Patrol, CDOT had a contractor clean up the roadway, and then EnviroServe came and cleaned out the storm drains. So and then on the 29th of August, I'm sorry, that's September. Suncor had a leak in the, what was written in the report was a sweet fuel gas line. I'm not sure what that is, but there was a line that leaked and they had to flare to resolve that and released sulfur dioxide into the air. And that's a report that they filed with us. On October 13th, sanitary sewer overflow, sewage backed up through a manhole. Sounded like got, kind of pretty extensive. Plumber was called, cleared that blockage. And I think that is as far as they went, although I don't know if public health was involved there.
Yeah, Dean, I went out on that. It was in the middle of the night on an after hours situation. So it was a relatively minor situation. It only contacted a little bit of ground of permeable surface underneath the trailer home. So Yeah, it was resolved within a day or so afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I changed something. Do you still see the slides?
No,
Okay. All right. Great. Huh. All right, how's that look now?
yeah,
They're back.
we can
Okay.
see.
All right, moving on. We had a 91,246 gallon reclaimed water spill. I know we had some conversations about that, but that is apparently a required report. So somebody ran over a valve box and a lot of water. Just sounded like nobody knew about it for a while, and that ran down to Big Dry Creek. They shut down the line. There wasn't any particular cleanup required on this one, but they did stop that leak. And then this month, so on the 16th, truck pulled into the terminal. It sounded like it had something leaking out of the tank, and spilled about 50 gallons onto concrete only. So they did apply absorbents and said that they have contacted a cleanup as well. And Jeff, if you got called out on this one in the middle of the night or not, we also had another one, sanitary sewer overflow on the 17th. And that one seems like they were already working out there, and basically discovered that there might have been a sewage leak somewhere that got into this dewatering outflow.
No, this is brand new news to me. We never got a call about this.
Okay. I'll check and see where that report came in from.
Okay, thank you.
But we'll kind of follow up with you on that one. That's probably a good reason why we do these.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it's amazing how different our records are in terms of what we get called, the items that we get called on and what you get called on and reported to. So they
Yeah.
don't usually match too well.
Well, and most of these come from Ann Nedrow and the call line
Yeah.
at CDPHE. So hopefully there's better
Yeah.
communication, but
Well, and Ann normally routes any of these significant spill reports straight to our EH director, and then that goes to our water team manager, and then to the supervisor, and then it usually lands in my lap shortly thereafter. But I was not aware of this one. No.
okay. And it looks like they just stopped pumping, and they're going to try and figure out. I'm not sure who did the E. coli tests, so we'll kind of usually what's posted in here in red letters is the actual text of the message I get, so that there's no interpretation or whatever. I'm just putting out there what I get. So
Right.
that's if I can get some more information to you, I'll do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so back at the Shamrock Foods, there was a release this month. Faulty valve on the condenser released an emptying the condenser of ammonia. So this is one of those ones where it's a food processing facility. They use ammonia in their cooling system, in the refrigeration system, extensively in the building. And over the summer, they had a couple of releases. You can see the note at the bottom, there, that this is the third time. I did a Google Maps look at the building, and it looks like there are refrigeration units all over the roof of the facility there. And it may be that, as these are aging, one and then another one pops out. But we had about talking to them about sponsoring an ammonia safety days, maybe next year if we're able to pull that off. So they fix it. There's no particular